Hello everyone, I'm Bruffy1322 and this video will showcase the fastest cars in the GTA 5 open wheel class, organised first of all by race tier and then by lap time within each tier, with the top speed of each vehicle also shown in order to identify any outliers. All 4 open wheel cars have been put through their paces on my testing track and top speed run, and we'll be going from the slowest A tier cars to the top S tier in this video. Not many. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on future testing of new vehicles added to GTA 5 and beyond, and check out all of the classes in the playlist. This video is supported by my wonderful patrons on Patreon. Check out patreon.com/Bruffy1322 to directly support this work and find out all the perks you can get by doing so, including early car testing info and early access to these testing videos. So with the open wheel class being very small and having a lot of things to mention, let's just get straight into it as we see the 3 A tier cars, which are all separated by just 0.2 of a second from top to bottom. There's various ways to abuse the amount of KERS boost you can get from these vehicles. Now, that's not something that I do in this testing, in the same way with normal cars that I don't overly go for curb boosts or brake boost, so keep that in mind with the lap times that you see here. It's basically driving these cars in the way that you would expect, in the same sort of way that I would drive all the other vehicles. Now, all of these vehicles are also all tested with middle downforce setups, which is the quickest for lap time out of having maximum downforce, middle downforce or minimum downforce, but obviously there are a huge number of variations that can be done with that. For those who don't know, every front and rear wing on these cars changes the downforce on the car to either increase cornering grip at the expense of top speed or increase top speed at the expense of traction. The changes aren't too huge, but if you want more info on all of that, check the original testing video for these cars, which I'll link in the description, as it goes more in depth on how the wings and spoilers work to change the downforce levels and performance of the cars. Now, when it comes to the actual testing, obviously you've seen the first 3 vehicles that are all very close in terms of performance, with the PR4 being the best of the A tier, but with the better top speed of the DR1, you know, they're so close you can probably use either of them. Ultimately, the number 1 is the top S tier with the BR8. It goes a good 2 seconds per lap quicker than anything else in the class, and yeah, it's just much better than everything else. The BR8 is also the fastest car in the game for lap time overall, just over half a second ahead of the best that the Super and Sport classes have to offer, with the HSW, Weaponized Ignis and an IOB respectively. Only half a second isn't very much, but it is ultimately the fastest that's ever gone around this track when you're looking at cars. Now, the thing is with these cars, and when it comes to this testing, the PR4, the DR1 and the BR8, I had to lift at one corner off the accelerator and I had to brake at one corner. The rest of this track was 100% full throttle all the time. I did have to lift off the throttle a little bit more in the R88 since it has slightly less grip, but barely anything really. And it shows that these cars are a superb example of grip, but not exactly engaging to drive or entertaining to race with. They're not really a challenge to get these kind of lap times because there's just too much grip with them. You know, when there's only 2 spots on a track where the driver can make any kind of difference, you'll forgive me for preferring to race an adder with its better than all these cars top speed and no spoiler. So that's the problem that these cars have mainly, is their top speed, and that lack of top speed that these cars have has become even worse now that we have HSW cars like the Niobe that hit nearly 160 miles per hour and get quicker lap times overall. There's 2 sports cars and 2 supercars that get better lap times than 3 out of the 4 of these open wheel cars, and that just shouldn't happen. HSW upgrades on these are kind of needed really, but that also makes no sense that some random mechanic in a car meet would be able to upgrade these thoroughbred racing cars. So they just should have had more top speed from the start really. And I think if these cars had HSW sports car straight line performance, like the 160 mile per hour top speed of the Niobe or the 170 mile per hour top speed of the Stinger TT, they'd easily get a sub 50-second lap time. Now, you could say that would be too fast at that point, but at least it'd be a bit more interesting to drive. So yeah, very short video for this one because obviously there's only 4 vehicles. Maybe we'll see some new open wheel vehicles in the future, but it's been a while since we last saw one with the BR8 being added, so I'm not sure whether we ever will. And yeah, that's pretty much everything for this video. It was a quick one here. Please consider supporting on Patreon or become a YouTube member if you want to support this work and get some extra perks for doing so, such as early access to videos with other testing results. And remember to read the description for more info, comment with your thoughts, like the video if you enjoyed it, found it helpful, and subscribe for more. As always, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.